My relationship with plants is based on my own personal history of being out in nature. When I think about plants, I think about imagination. I think about possibilities. I think about being transported to a different time or place. Plants for me are timeless. I could be in the past, I could be in the future. From a very young age, I spent a lot of time out in nature. We grew up in a small suburb called Coral Springs. It's in the northwestern part of South Florida. And there's a highway that cuts across the suburb from the Everglades. And that's something that always struck me as being really odd, that we were so separated from this wildness and from nature. Spending time in the Florida wilderness and then going back into the city and having that separation really made me want to connect people to the plant world, connect people to nature. I've always been an artist ever since a young age, and I love to paint, I love to draw, and then I ended up going to college to study art, and all of the painting and drawing classes were filled up and unavailable, and so they suggested that I take a ceramics class, like pottery on the wheel. And I didn't think anything of it, so I took the class and I just fell in love. I fell in love with the material, the medium, the way it moves, the way that you can transform things into three-dimensional objects. And after that class, I took a second class and then a third class, and the next thing you know, I was a ceramic artist. I've done a lot of different things in clay. I've been working in clay for 15 years, and now I do it full time, and it's amazing. My process begins with taking a mold or an impression of a plant or an object. So mold making is a production tool. It's a way for you to make multiples and turn it into sculptures or installations. And so my process begins with research. I love to go out in nature and explore, look at the different textures, look at the different colors, and then I'll take a mold of those impressions and bring them back into my studio where I press clay into the silicone molds. And from there, I add them into my artwork. Sometimes they're panel installations on the wall or sculptural objects. Something interesting about Florida plants is a lot of the plants that you see here are not from here. People bring them from different places. And the work that I do investigates these stories behind where these plants come from. Most recent artwork is called Three Rivers. It is a panel tile ceramic installation that's covered with fruits and leaves and geometry and shells and different textures that are found in the South Florida environment. The story behind this artwork is inspired by the agricultural community that settled here in Florida in the late 1800s. They were farmers. They grew avocados, they grew mangoes, they grew citrus trees, and they populated the area with a lot of these different types of plants. And then as the city took off, it basically got rid of all of those different types of agricultural communities, and only a few of those trees remain here. So you can see in Miami there's avocado trees, mango trees that are sparsely populated in backyards and public parks and cooperatives, and it's evidence of the people that really founded the land. Some of the works that I do involve community participation. The reason for this is because I want people to touch and feel the clay and to experience what it's like to create something. And at the end of the project, when they come back and see the artwork that we all created together, it's this magical moment where they feel connected to nature, connected to the process, and hopefully they leave inspired, wanting to make work of their own inspired by nature. My inspiration from nature comes with this natural wildness that I see out in both in my community and the surrounding landscape of Miami, but there's a little bit of a darker tale here. Climate change is affecting a lot of the plants, the animals, and the systems that we see. And I think now more than ever, people are aware of this problem, and it causes a lot of anxiety. Climate anxiety is a very real thing, and I think that from what I've seen, from the way people react to the work, the way people behave out in nature, that plants create this soothing moment. It makes people feel a little bit more connected to nature. We've seen this with a large boom of indoor houseplants, people wanting to be around houseplants, nature in general. And these are the type of things that help with climate anxiety. So for me, plants have really helped me overcome a lot of this climate anxiety that I feel on a daily basis, and in the hopes that by inspiring people to think that they can make small changes, that we can overcome some of these greater problems that are happening. I really found a home here with the art community in Miami. There are a lot of artists that are exploring similar issues, that really care about the environment, and we're also inspired by this tropical oasis that surrounds us. It's really an amazing place. All of the plants here, they're from the Caribbean, they're from South America, they're also from the north. Florida has these overlapping Venn diagrams of plants that create a really unique ecology of textures and colors, and I think that a lot of the artists here understand and appreciate that. When people view my work or help me to build my work, I want them to feel a sense of wonder and actually joy when they're touching the clay. Art is a way to travel through time and space, and for me, making my work is my attempt to reach the sublime. And when people look at the work, I hope that they're able to get to that place, whether through their own imaginations or through references in the work by looking at different types of shapes or leaves. Sometimes the works reference classical architecture. They respond to time and place. And when people look at the work, I want them to have a connection to the sublime.